What is going on, everybody? It is Jackson, Andrew, and Chase from Dinger Dudes. And today we have a very special episode. We are also joined by West Georgia baseball alum Cooper Prince. Cooper, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this episode. How's your day going?
Everything's been going well, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
We're excited to have you on. And you know what else we're excited for? MLB All-Star Week that's coming up next week, and it is here in Atlanta, Georgia. Me personally, I am not a Braves fan. I'm a Cardinals fan, if you couldn't tell by the background over there. But the Braves in it's All-Star Game week in Atlanta. Twins, how you feeling about that?
That's about the only thing we have left to be excited about, Jackson. This season is just
Mm.
kind of falling apart. Rotation has been injury prone, just left and right. It just seems like we can't seem to escape the injury bug. But what makes it even more painful is it's not even the pitching to throw the blame on. It's a lack of run support that the bats just have not been able to produce. But talk about the All Star game. I'm very excited for it. I really want to go see it in person, but I'm also not about to pay $500 to go see it in person.
Mm.
But I will be out in the Battery hanging out during the event and just seeing all the things they have to offer. But I'm excited, man, because for those who don't remember, we got the All Star game robbed from us a couple years ago. And I'm glad that it's come full circle and that they gave us another shot to host it. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited.
There's some pretty, exciting factors, especially for Braves fans. We're hosting, of course, and we're going to have our very own Ronald Acuna Jr., who not only is in the home run derby, but was able to squeak in and become an all-star starter in the outfield for the National League, which I think is incredible, considering he's only played a little over a month of baseball. And, we might have some other players sneaking at the reserve spot. I think Matt Olson is going to be a guy that might be a reserve first baseman in the All-Star game. So we'll have to see how that pans out, but I'm excited.
So Cooper, I want to ask you. I'm not sure which MLB team you're a fan of. I would assume the Braves. Is that correct or no?
Yeah, I don't really have a team right now, to be honest with you. I'm a free agent in terms of MLB fandom.
Hmm.
So if
Don't
any
go
of
to the
y'all,
Braves.
Go
yeah,
to the
I'm saving
Cardinals.
you right
I
now.
wasn't planning on it. I
I'm
have too
saving
many.
you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I have too many friends and teammates that are Braves fans, so I don't know. That's probably the one I wouldn't root for, to be completely honest with you.
That's
That's
So
But
fair.
did you have a favorite player growing up?
uh, I had a bunch of guys growing up. I would say Jose Reyes. I was a
Hmm.
big Jose Reyes
Nice.
guy. More recently, Christian Yelich. I like him a lot. I obviously Altuve, kind of a man of similar build to me, so I
Hmm.
like him. But yeah, I don't have really any teams that I follow. I more so just keep up with players.
No time like now to be a Mets fan. Am I right, Twins?
Whoa,
What do you?
absolutely not. They've been playing some horrible baseball recently, Jackson.
Yeah,
But
don't.
I want to get into, since we're on the topic of All-Star Week, I want to kind of get into the rosters and who do you guys think was robbed from a potential starting spot. So I want to start with the American League. I'm looking at it right now. We have at catcher Cal Raleigh. We have Vlad Jr. first base, Gleyber Torres, Jacob Wilson, Jose Ramirez, Aaron Judge, Riley Green, Javi Baez, and Ryan O'Hearn. And for the National League, at catcher, we got Will Smith. We also got Freddie Freeman, Ketel Marte, Francisco Lindor, Machado Acuna Jr., as mentioned prior, PCA, Kyle Tucker, and Shohei Ohtani. Is there any guys that you would potentially put over them that were potentially snubbed from a starting spot?
I would,
This is
I would,
for.
I would say, I know we talked about this a little more last episode, but I kind of want to just emphasize this point. Look, me personally, obviously as a Braves fan, I absolutely love and I'm ecstatic that Ronald Acuna is an all-star starter. Now, I know I do understand why it's controversial because while he is on pace to have a very historic season, he's only played a month and a week of baseball, and he kind of showed up right when the all-star voting was happening. So it can kind of seem a little unfair, especially to players like Wood for the Nationals. I know we talked about this last episode. I look at his numbers, and he's played all year. So some people are saying that if anything, that he should have been an All-Star starter and put Acuna at a reserve spot. And as a Braves fan, if I set my bias aside, I can't really argue with that because yes, I said it. Like I said, Acuna is having an historic season, but James Wood is also having a pretty historic season, and he's played all season. So if you ask me if I'm taking all bias aside, I think it's fair that James Wood probably should be a starter and Acuna, if anything, should be reserved. But that's not how it panned out because it's left up to the fans. And obviously, fans are going to vote Ronald Acuna over Wood.
And
So
I was going Jackson.
I was going to say very quick is the fact that James Wood didn't even make it to the second phase of voting. He didn't
Yeah.
even make top six. He
Yeah.
is right now a top two, if top three, National League outfielder as of right now. And statistically, he has over every single category over a guy like Teoscar Hernandez, who was placed in that second place voting, and he has better statistics, if not matched, with PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong. And you mentioned the fact of missing baseball this season. Another guy who is voted in that top three, Kyle Tucker. It's the fact that James Wood plays for the Washington Nationals and they are
Yep.
subpar as of right now. James Wood deserved that starting spot.
And I don't hate that take. I mean, obviously, I'm going to root for my man Acuna all day long, but I don't hate the take. And I think the point is fair, but I'm also going to adjust that same viewpoint to other players because I think this is the biggest issue we have with the MLB All-Star voting is the fans have way too much power. And we've seen that throughout a lot of other leagues as well, not just the MLB. But just to give you a few examples, because when I'm thinking about an All-Star and I'm looking at who should be a starter, who should be a reserve, who should get cut, I'm looking for consistency. Because you can have one good month of baseball, but I need to see it on a consistent basis. Because I'm just going to throw this out right now. The last 2 weeks, Ronald Acuna has not been playing that good baseball. I'm just going to be flat out honest. And we've seen it even in the month of June. Like the Mets fans, I hate the Mets, but I'm gonna defend you guys for a minute. Freddie Freeman getting selected ahead of Pete Alonso might have been a little bit of an absurd take. Now, obviously, I love Freddie Freeman, but he absolutely tanked his OPS down to a .557 throughout the month of June, while Pete Alonso's OPS was rising through the weeks of June, and he's had a consistently good season. So I think there's a world where Pete Alonso should have been over Freddie Freeman. But then, of course, you have the reserves. So I mean, Pete Alonso's going to get in there either way. But then you look at the catcher spot for the National League because obviously the American League, Cal Riley's running away with it at full sprint. But you look at the National League, Carson Kelly was the other finalist who lost out to Will Smith, but Will Smith also had an atrocious month of June. That's not consistent baseball, and especially around the period where the voting happens. If you're playing bad baseball, your voting should tank. It shouldn't increase. And then to me, I'm going to be, and I know Chase is going to really like what I'm about to say here, but you look at the National League shortstop. This is probably the tightest position in all the National League because you've got guys like Trey Turner, De La Cruz, who made the cut over guys like Mookie Betts and CJ Abrams. But Betts is probably going to be the guy that gets in over De La Cruz. But of course, we know that De La Cruz has grown in popularity because of the season he's having. But because the fans have too much power, Mookie Betts is going to get the rights anyways. So I think it's not.
Andrew,
Yeah.
this was already the starting lineup. So Francisco Lindor is the starting shortstop.
Well,
For the
yeah, no,
Nationals.
I know that. I was just
Oh,
speaking
you
on
were just
other
talking in
behalfs
general.
of like
Okay.
Trey Turner, like I'm talking about just the reserves here. Like De La Cruz is probably going to get the butt out because Mookie Betts is probably going to get the reserve spot. Which
Oh,
I'm not going to say is not fair, but I'm also going to say that if the voting was more accurate, I'm thinking De La Cruz might deserve it over
hey,
Mookie Betts
well,
if we're going on stats alone.
I am looking right now, and I can't confirm this, but I'm pretty sure Ellie De La Cruz was just named the reserve at the shortstop spot.
Seriously, are
Hmm.
you serious?
I,
Man, hold
I
on,
that, that
I
that's what
might
I'm
have faith
seeing
in them
right
guys
now,
again.
but I can't confirm if that's like 100% true.
Dude, if
Yeah.
that's the case, I would absolutely love it. I'm all for that selection.
So Cooper, I kind of want to ask you from a non-biased standpoint. You said you don't have a favorite MLB team. Is there anybody? I'm not sure how much you pay attention to Major League, but is there anybody that you think should be an all-star that wasn't listed off what I read?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I wouldn't say an all-star, but I personally feel as though the American League shortstop position was not as locked into Jacob Wilson as they said. I
Hmm.
thought
Okay.
Bobby Witt just as easily could have slid in there, and I would have had no problem with it. Obviously, Jacob Wilson's taking the world by storm right now, like hardly striking out, hitting for a high average, slugging a little bit. But you go look at some of the more in-depth stats, like weighted on base, stuff like that. Witt's got him in almost every category, and he's in like the 99th percentile of every category too, like exit velo, things of that nature. So I mean, it just kind of depends on what you're looking at and what you value, but I feel like it wasn't as set in stone with Jacob Wilson as they made it seem.
No, I
And
think you're right.
yeah, I was gonna say I completely agree with that. I have a friend of mine I did a previous episode with who's a Royals fan, and he even admitted that the Jacob Wilson and Bobby Witt Jr. races 1A, 1B this season. And we had a conversation last season where it was Bobby Witt Jr. and Gunnar Henderson. And the twins and Steven, who's not part of this episode, can agree with that. Jacob Wilson right now, he was hitting a 380, like 370s average, and it's barely dropped to like the 350s. The last time I checked, it was like a 353. Jacob Wilson is not just great offensively, but he's great defensively. Not saying like it's matched with Bobby Witt Jr., but Jacob Wilson, it's a 1A, 1B, and I don't think it was as set in stone as you mentioned that this MLB season.
Oh
And I
yeah,
think
you
you're
also have
right.
to remember that Bollywood Jr. is also leading ahead of Jacob Wilson in terms of home runs and RBI.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, that's over any American League shortstop by a pretty wide margin. So if you want to put that in consideration, which I think is very important, because we can't say Jacob Wilson hasn't had the same opportunity. Jacob Wilson has actually been at bat with many runners in scoring position, but he doesn't have the clutch factor like Bollywood Jr. does in terms of being able to bring them across. So that's something I highly consider. And Bollywood Jr. does have that over Jacob Wilson by a pretty good margin.
I think it really just comes down to, I think the only reason that separates Jacob Wilson over Bobby Witt in terms of who gets the starting role is that Jacob Wilson has consistently been right behind Aaron Judge for the best batting average in the major league. And I think a lot of people thought that by now Jacob Wilson's batting average would have regressed maybe closer to the 300 level. But like Jackson said, it has stayed right at 350 through all phases of baseball so far. And I think that's been the main motivator of why they wanted him over Bobby Witt. But if you're putting them for face to face value, I think Bobby Witt does have more to offer, like you said, Chase, because he does have a lot more RBIs because he has a better clutch factor when it comes to hitting and runs and scoring position. But I think this is a good thing for Jacob Wilson and a little bit unfortunate for Bobby Witt. But Bobby Witt's still young. Like, we're not going to, I mean, Bobby Witt might just win an MVP next year. You know, it's like he'll
Mhm.
get other opportunities. But I definitely get what you're saying, Cooper. I think it's not as like out there as what the professionals were making it sound like. Because Bobby Witt should have definitely been more in the conversation.
Sure.
Now, I do want to stick on the topic of American League. Another position I was not a really big fan of that this guy
Okay.
got selected. Not again, he's a big reason why the Toronto Blue Jays have had the season that they've had. They're on a
Wow.
current 8-game win streak. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And we had a episode a couple weeks ago with a Tampa Bay Rays fan, your former teammate Cooper Carter Deerdorf, and he said that he's a big fan of a guy by the name of Jonathan Aranda. And a
Yep.
lot of people Jonathan Aranda didn't make it to the second phase of voting, and I think he should have been above guys like. In my opinion, I'm a big fan of Paul Goldschmidt, but I think he should have been above Goldschmidt, and I think he should have been above Guerrero Jr. Aranda's having a fantastic season, hitting above 315 right now. Has like 10 homers and 40 something RBIs, and he's not saying that because he's on my fantasy team, but Jonathan Aranda is having a fantastic season. I just wanted to point that out as well.
Yeah, so I actually listened to that one and heard Carter say that and went and looked at his numbers and I was like, why is this guy flying under the radar?
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
it's because they're playing in a AAA ballpark right now or whatever, but or a spring training ballpark, but I mean, you're not really hearing anything about him. So I tend to agree like he should have gotten more recognition than he did, especially by the fans and the voting.
Well,
Yep,
I'm gonna go out there and even extend that a little further because you're absolutely right. But I think aside from Jonathan Aranda, I think Jazz Chisholm is having a substantially better season than guys like Goldschmidt and Jackson Holiday, who were the finalists at first base and second base. So yeah, I think it's a little surprising. I don't really know I don't really have any good, or excuses to pull out of my back pocket. I just think that they are highly underappreciated. And I mean, maybe the ballpark they're playing in has a little bit of a factor on that. I don't really know. And I think Jazz Chisholm does make a little more sense than Aranda now that I'm thinking about it because he's had
Um,
a bad month of June, but you know.
yeah, I'm gonna veto the Jazz Chisholm idea. I actually dropped him on my fantasy
throw that
team
out,
because
bro. Throw that
Hey,
out.
that
Get that out of
Jazz
here.
Chisholm is nothing but a ground ball merchant. His
hold
batting
on.
average is atrocious right now.
Hold on.
Hold on now. I
This
didn't
is the
say.
same guy who said Kyle Schwarber should have been the starting National
That
League
was on
DH
accident.
for
That's because I
Sean
forgot.
Ohtani.
Hey, you said it, man.
That's because I
We
forgot
have
about
it on
Otani.
tape.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I got exposed. But I'm not saying that Jazz Chisholm is better than Jonathan Aranda, but I'm saying he is having a better season than Goldschmidt and Holiday. Like, if we're being honest, he is
I don't
having a
think
better
so.
season.
I don't think so.
Look,
Personally, I
stat for
don't.
stat. If you're gonna pull him up stat for stat, he 100% is. Now the batting average has dropped. I'm not gonna sit here and say that
Think
that's not
about
true.
think about who's hitting in front and behind him though, and think about who's hitting in front and
Thank
behind
you,
Jackson Holiday.
Hey, he's
Cooper.
got some
Thank you.
help.
Thank
No,
you.
he's got some
Thank you.
help.
That
Look,
is a
Mhm.
fantastic point. That
he's
is a
spoiled.
fantastic point.
No, you're right. He is spoiled by the line that's around him. But I mean, look, you can only help. He chose to be there. I don't think you can use that as a reason to vote against somebody. I think that definitely does aid to his game though, because had he been on if he stayed on the Marlins, I don't think his numbers are half as good as they are right now. So I don't think
Oh,
you're
I'm
wrong
just gonna
there.
let you know his average is below 250, and not at one point this season has it been above 250. Just let that sink in.
Hey, look, I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Maybe I just like Jazz Chisholm. I always find myself defending him. Maybe I'm just a Jazz fan. I don't know.
That's
Hold on,
fine.
I was gonna say, can I share my screen really quick?
Okay.
As long as it
Yeah.
doesn't get us a copyright strike.
This. I pull up now. You guys know I'm a big fan of MLB Versus Finder.
Uh
Look
huh.
at the
Goodness,
stats
here we
right
go.
now. This
Hold
is the
on.
2025 season for both of these people right here.
Wait,
We
hold
have
on. You
Jazz
missed.
Chisholm. Those look like all-star numbers to you,
Wait, hold on.
Andrew?
You missed what I said. You missed what I said. I didn't say he was better than Jonathan Aranda. I said he was having better seasons than Goldschmidt and Holiday. That's what I said. Side by side, Aranda is 100% better. But
Jackson's gonna disprove that right now.
I hope he doesn't. I really hope he doesn't. I'm a little scared. I think I maybe talked too big of the game here. But we'll see. We'll find out. Maybe I cooked.
Okay, hold on. Oh wait, hold on.
Oh,
That's
oh
career
God.
stats.
Okay,
That's
I was
career
about to
stats.
say. It cannot be that lopsided.
Okay, hold on. That's career stats. It is
Mhm.
that lopsided. There's a reason why Paul Goldschmidt was the second leading.
Yeah, it's
What's
going to
it?
be very lopsided.
It's
Chisholm's having a
regardless.
poor year. In terms of Chisholm's standards, he's having a really poor season.
I don't know.
All right, now it's 2025. Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
Okay, see, that's not. Jazz Chisholm is leading more categories. What are you
Okay,
talking
Actually, he
about?
might be
but
right.
we
He
got to
might be right.
take WAR. We got to take WAR out of the equation because that is not a good stat whatsoever.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's fair. That's fair.
I don't know if y'all have seen the stuff about that recently all over Twitter, but like they'll be on the verses or whatever and put up some horrible player from the 90s and like a more recent guy, and for whatever reason, the horrible player from the 90s will have like a higher WAR than the more recent guy that everybody would consider to be a stud. So it's like, how important for me personally, I don't think it is the end all be all, but
No,
And
that's
you
fine.
know,
I just want to point something out though. Jackson he took the screen away, but Jazz Chisholm has played in 20 less games than Paul Goldschmidt and has almost double the home runs and double the
well,
RBIs.
I want to get away from that conversation because I actually don't want to bring up the war argument because it's actually pretty funny you brought that up because Jeremy Pena, by the way, he is another guy that people are considering was a snub in terms of American League shortstops, and a lot of people that claim that Pena was a snub is bringing up his WAR, talking about how he has the second best WAR among all players, and I think it's kind of funny that you brought that up, considering that that might be a stat that we might need to forget about. Because that was that was the other side to the argument. People are saying that war is not that big of a deal, and I actually
Yeah.
saw that argument among people on Instagram today. So, and I was actually going to bring that up when we talked about Jimmy Pena. So I'm glad you did, Cooper. That's actually an interesting point that you made.
where do y'all stand on that? Do y'all think it's a valuable stat, or do you think it's kind of overshadowing a lot of other important stats?
I don't really
I'm
know.
I'm
Honestly,
kind of with
I
you,
don't
Cooper.
know.
I'm with you, Cooper. I think because I haven't looked into it as much as Chase has, but I did see an Instagram reel where somebody was kind of explaining how wars can be very misleading. Like you said, Cooper, when you're
Yeah,
comparing him to a trash player from the '90s, and they'll
yeah.
have a substantially higher war. So I think I think it has been disproven, or excuse me, has been proven that maybe war is a little bit misleading. So I don't look into it as much as I think other guys most definitely do. But it is
I think that's a
interesting.
I think that's a good word for it. I think misleading is a good word. I think without context, I think it doesn't tell the full story. So
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely right.
Yeah, and a lot of people look at WAR, and a lot of, I guess, the Baseball Hall of Fame committee look at that as
They do.
a piece of criteria, and a lot of people look at that and say 40 plus WAR, you were an elite guy during throughout your entire career, but you
Mhm.
also got to look at things like longevity. Like there's guys who played for 22 plus years and have a 40 plus WAR. And then you have a guy who played for like who's only been playing for 13 years, like a guy like Bryce Harper who has around a 40 WAR.
Yeah.
Who I'm pretty sure it's post 35, but you gotta look at this. Like Jeremy Pena, 4.6 WAR compared to like a 2.1 like Jacob
Yep.
Wilson. I mean, but take away WAR. You gotta look at this. Jeremy Pena is having a substantially better season than Jacob Wilson. But
Yeah.
I don't think because right now Jeremy Pena is on the IL, so regardless of that, I don't think he's getting named to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, phenomenal player. But that's just not the case in this
A
situation.
little bit of news, but I guess not really news because this was pretty expected. But Matt Olson was officially named a reserve for the first base spot in the National League. But
Hmm.
I think
Nice.
everybody kind of saw that coming.
So over has Pete Alonso yet?
I haven't seen anything about Pete Alonso
Pete
actually.
Alonso's got Pete Alonso. Wait, I didn't really piece that together, but that seems backwards. Let me see if I can.
I don't know. I'm looking at it right here. I see Matt Olson. I don't see Pete Alonso.
Because
Well,
I'm not gonna lie. Like, if Matt
Oh wait,
Olson
hang on,
was
hang on.
Pete
Okay, so the
Alonso's
complete roster has just been named.
okay, let's hear it.
Um, no, no, it hasn't. Just kidding.
I'm looking at it right here, and it's telling me that the first base reserve has not been announced yet.
Oh, I just got it. The Atlanta Braves Twitter just posted it.
hmm.
Okay, this is odd.
Yep, that
Well,
has. They're still going through it.
So, but sticking on the topic of All-Star Week before we get into our snake draft this episode, because we have about 14, 15 minutes left in this episode, I want to start with Cooper. So three of the people have been announced for the Home Run Derby this year. Cal Raleigh, Ronald Acuna Jr., James Wood. The reason James Wood is in this is because he wasn't named an All-Star, which is unfortunate.
Probably.
But I'm excited to see James Wood in the Home Run Derby. Who is a guy that you would like to see in the Home Run Derby this year, Cooper, that has not been announced yet?
Three come to mind.
Mm.
First
Let's hear 'em.
PCA. I feel like PCA would be
Mm.
awesome in the home run derby. I
Ah,
don't know how many lefties we're gonna want to watch hitting Truist with that big old wall out there, but I feel like he's a guy that can hit it way out and do it pretty consistently. So PCA is one. Judge, I remember him doing it in what was it? Florida,
17?
Miami,
Oh, Miami, yeah.
17. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. He's hitting balls like off the back wall. I mean, that was sick. And then
ridiculous.
lastly, I mean, Shohei. Who wouldn't want to watch that? So those are probably three guys that I would love to see. I don't think Shohei or Judge would do it, but I feel like it would be really fun to watch them.
I completely agree with that. As a Cardinals fan, I'm a big fan of PCA. Unfortunately, he plays for the Chicago Cubs, but I would love to see him in the home run derby. Judge has denied it time after time, so I don't. I would love to see him in the home run derby again, but I don't think that's gonna happen. And then Otani, he gasses out a little too quick. The last time he was in a home run derby, I mean, he gassed out back in 2021, I believe, when he was on the Los Angeles Angels. I believe he lost out to Juan Soto in the very first round. That was the year Juan Soto, I think, won the whole entire derby. But a guy I would love to see in the home run derby this year, I'm, ugh. you know, I feel like the Angels, they need a representative. They've had a consistent season so far. I mean, right now they're sitting around the 500 range, which is above expected than what I thought. And a guy I want to talk about is Joe Adell. Joe
Yep.
Adell
Mm.
is right now has 18 homers on the season, and he's about to break his personal career record of homers during the season. And he's been one of the bright lights in Anaheim. And I would love to see a guy like him in the home run derby in Atlanta.
That's an excellent pick. And the Angels, people don't really seem to put this together, but the Angels have hit the fourth most home runs out of any team in baseball right now. Like the
Taylor
balls are
Ward,
flying in Anaheim. right now. But I'm just gonna name my guy real quick. I would like to see Manny Machado in there, and I think the main reason why I want to see Manny Machado in there is because Sunday Night Baseball was talking about it back when they were playing the Phillies that Manny Machado has increased his swing rate by almost 10%, which is a really significant amount for any baseball player. And ever since he's made that tiny little change this season, the ball has been coming off his bat so much faster than what it was in previous seasons. And his home run production hasn't increased because of it. So I think if he takes that tactic into a home run derby, we'll probably get some 470, 480 bombs out of him. So I'd like to see it.
Very quick, Chase, before you say your guy, breaking Brendan Donovan has been named a National League
Nice.
All-Star Reserves for the second base spot. I believe he could have pushed for, Cattell and him are both having fantastic seasons. But, shout out Brendan Donovan. A
I like
big
it.
fan. But Chase, go with your home run derby participant before we get into this snake draft.
I'm gonna do a guy just on straight nostalgia and aura, and just the fact that this is the healthiest he's been in such a long time. I think if he's not going to be an all-star, put Mike Trout in the home run derby. I think fans would love to see it. Like I said, this is the healthiest we've seen him in a long time, and he's just good for the game of baseball to have a guy like him playing, not completely healthy. He still missed some time, not too much time though. But I think Mike Trout would just be an incredible guy. No matter how he performs, it'd just be fun to see.
Has Mike Trout been in a home run derby previously during his career?
Not recently. He has at least one, right?
I think it was
Surely he
maybe
has.
2013.
I think
If
once.
anything, it's been over a decade. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But sticking on the topic of home run derby, it's our signature segment, Dream Team Draft. And we always let our guests pick which pick they want in the snake draft. And today's topic is all-time home run derby participants. It doesn't have to be a specific season. Like for example, like Robinson Cano was in multiple home run derbies, but just choose Robinson Cano. So Cooper, it's gonna go in a snake format. Which pick do you want?
Let me go fourth.
Go
Oh,
fourth.
okay.
Let me
All
go
right.
I
fourth.
like it.
Chase.
Yes.
Which hold on. So we're just gonna go like this. Chase, you get second, third, first,
Do I get second?
second. Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take second.
Andrew, you want third
I'm
or
going
first?
third. Am I going
Okay.
first or third?
I'll go third. I'll go third.
So I'm going first.
Yeah.
And we all know
Okay.
who you're picking. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know if it's as obvious as what you think it is, but I'm going the guy who's already run multiple home run derbies. I think it's got to be Pete Alonso, right? Like, maybe, I know that might be a surprise. I don't know if it's a surprise to you guys, but to me, I can't name of a guy more recently, at least in my lifetime, anyways, that's been so electric in a home run derby on such a consistent basis. Because, I mean, Alonso, take the 2021 home run derby, for example, rolled up there. Guys like Otani was sitting right there, but Alonso, I think he had 35 home runs in the first round alone and pretty much locked it. And I think this was in Coors Field too, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about that, but I felt like the ball was flying a lot farther than what it normally would. But no, no, it was not Coors Field. What am I talking about? That was in
No.
somebody help me out.
It was
21. Where
in 21. Yeah, that was Coors Field.
was it? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought that was a lot longer. Okay, well that makes a little more sense now. But yeah, I hate the Mets. I hate Pete Alonso. But when it comes to the home
Mhm.
run derby, I can't think of anyone more exciting. So that's my
All
pick.
right, Chase, we got 10 minutes. We're choosing five people each.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get my guy out of the way. This is probably my favorite recent winner. You gotta go back to 2023 when I was in Seattle. Vladimir Guerrero, man. I think he hit 72 home runs, which don't fact check me. It's either the best or it's either the most or the second most home runs hit in a home run derby. I can't remember which one. Either way, it was spectacular. 72 is unreal. And
Yep.
first father son duo to both win the home run derby is pretty cool. So give me Vlad.
All right, I guess I'm going next, and I want to throw this back to 2013 and 2014 Home Run Derby winner, Yoenis Cespedes, the first
Mm.
back-to-back Home Run Derby champion before Pete Alonso to do it. So give me Oakland Athletics legend, Cespedes. Cooper, you're up.
All right. So with my first pick, I'm going to go Todd Frazier. I believe he was a
Mm.
back-to-back champ, right? Am I making that up?
2015 he was a Home Run Derby champion. 2016 he was runner-up to
No, no.
Stanton.
Okay. So yeah, we're
Friend
gonna
of
go
the show.
Todd Frazier first, and then we're gonna go Josh Hamilton second. The
Hmm.
performance he put on in Yankee Stadium, unmatched. back when there was no timer or anything. It was just how many homers you hit and then how many balls you didn't hit out. I mean, he put on a clinic. So I
I
know he
like
didn't
it.
win that one, but he's still on my list.
Now, I guess that throws it back to me, and
Yup.
my bad. He wasn't the first back-to-back champion, but this guy was. This was before my time, I believe, before any of us were born. Give me the kid, Ken Griffey Jr. He's my second overall
No.
pick. You thought you were gonna land him. You should have picked him
I
first.
thought I was
I
gonna
don't
land
know
him
why.
too.
I don't know why I thought I was too. There's no shot he was going to be available. All right,
All
Chase.
right.
So I'm gonna go back to one of my favorite home run derby performances ever. I think this might be my favorite, just because he hit multiple home runs. That was 490 plus feet. I think his longest one was 497. Carlos Stanton back in 2016.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Stanton.
I think that was in San Diego. Someone correct me
Yeah, that
if
was
I'm
San
wrong.
Diego.
I thought
I
so.
Fun, and quick fact about that one: if you look up the 20 hardest hit balls ever in a home run derby, Stanton has 10 of those, and it came from that home run derby alone, which I think
That's
is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the guy. I thought you were gonna go with this guy, Chase, but I'm taking Aaron Judge. I think Aaron Judge, what he did back in 2017 is enough. And the guy, look, he's what, like 6'6". He's just a freaking monster when he stands to the plate. I don't know why you wouldn't want a guy like that in a home run derby. And this one might be my next pick. It might be a personal favorite. I mean, he was a two-time winner, I think. You might have to correct me on this, but I'm going Prince Fielder. I think Prince Fielder he's one of my
Nice
favorite
pick.
baseball players of all time, and I love him. I can't not take Prince Fielder. I think he had like a 480-foot bomb in his first home run derby.
well,
It maybe came in 2012. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a monster shot.
Prince Fielder might be big, but he'll never be Big Poppy. So give me David Ortiz, and
Okay,
he won it sometime in the early 2010s.
2010, I think.
You said David Ortiz.
Yep.
Oh, and Cooper, who are your picks so far?
I had Todd Frazier, and who was my other one?
You had
Todd,
Todd Frazier and a Yankee. Didn't you choose a Yankee?
I
I thought you
cannot
did.
remember my other one.
What was your other one?
Was it
Wait,
Josh
who?
Hamilton?
It was Josh
It
Hamilton. That's
was
right.
Josh Hamilton.
Okay, Josh. I don't know why I thought you chose a Yankee.
All right,
Is it
so
me
I
now?
guess
Or is it Jackson?
it's my turn.
Okay.
So I guess I actually want to go with a guy. I think he should have he was so close to winning it. I'm gonna go with a non-home run derby winner, but
Oh, okay.
his performance was awesome and like it was insane to me. He's been in a couple. Give me Jock Peterson. Jock
Hmm.
Peterson put on a masterclass in the home run derby. It's unfortunate he didn't win it, but home run derby participant, give me Jock Peterson.
Yeah. So my next pick, I'm gonna go with Bryce Harper.
Mm.
Was in the home stadium with his dad
Yep.
throwing. I mean, that was sick. So Bryce Harper for my first pick, and for the second one, I'm gonna go Mark McGuire at Fenway Park,
Mm.
launching balls onto the street. I mean, that was insane.
Crazy.
So those are my two.
I guess for my next pick, ooh, y'all took all the ones that I really wanted. Um, give me, yeah, I'm gonna go with, yeah, give me another non-winner, and I might lose the snake draft poll for this, but Julio Rodriguez when he set the record of 41 homers in a round. Give me
Hey,
Julio Rodriguez.
he made the finals. He wasn't
He
a
did
winner,
he
but he
did
was in
make
the
the finals.
finals.
He lost the finals. But give me Julio Rodriguez recency. So
I'm gonna I'm gonna pick this guy. He did win it, so it's still a great pick. But I'm mostly picking it because I feel like I had to. If I'm gonna take Vladimir Guerrero, I had to get Vladimir Senior as well back in 2007. So I'm gonna get the father son duo on my team.
Okay, I'm gonna go an interesting one. I don't know. He might fall lower on the list, but I think just because this one's so interesting to me. So back, in 2005, the World Baseball Classic was that year, and because the World Baseball Classic was there, they decided to pick a pool of players to represent 8 different countries. So that's how they decided who was going to be in the home run derby that year. And Bobby Abreu won that home run derby that year. So for that one alone, but just because I think that's such a cool concept, I'm going to take Bobby Abreu. I think he won it. He may have been runner up. I didn't look it up.
He won it.
Okay, yeah, I didn't look it up, so I wasn't exactly sure. But Jackson, I'm surprised. Well, I don't know. You haven't picked Albert Pujols yet, have you?
Mm,
Dang it, dude! That was oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Okay. I just wanted to make. I'm surprised you didn't take your guy Albert Pujols, but I'm going to take him for my final pick. And
I'm
yeah,
pretty
one of
sure
the greatest home
Pujols
run hitters of all time.
is he also like the oldest guy to ever participate in a home run derby?
Maybe.
I think he
He's
was.
he's been to 4 different home run
yeah.
derbies, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's
All
true.
right, Chase, who's your next guy?
In honor of the home run derby being in Atlanta this year, I'm gonna take it back to the last time it was in Atlanta, back in 2000. Sammy Sosa, baby.
Okay.
Sammy Sosa is a solid pick. Sammy
I'm pretty
Sosa is a
sure that
really
he hit the or at the time he hit a home run that night. That was the longest home run in home run derby history. Obviously, that was recently broken by Stanton, I believe. But before Stanton did it, I think it was Sammy Sosa that held the record.
It was like 470 something. I think
Something
I know
like
what you're
that,
talking
yeah.
about.
No, I want to throw for my I believe this is my second to last pick. Give me 2006, give me Philadelphia Philly
Well,
Ryan Howard.
I think that was your last pick. 'Cause I already have
Th-
5.
This one's my last pick. Ryan Howard.
Oh, yeah, that's your last pick, yeah.
Ryan Howard is my final pick.
Okay.
So Cooper with your final pick,
Wow, 2 picks.
final 2 picks.
It's just one, I believe, but
Yeah, it's just one.
Oh, sorry.
I'm having a hard time deciding between Frank Thomas and Barry Bonds, and I think
Oh,
Mm,
just because of I believe he's the GOAT, I'm gonna go with Bonds.
mm.
there you go.
We've had a very consistent debate about that. These two, well, Chase doesn't think he's the GOAT. Everybody else on this podcast, but Chase thinks he's the GOAT.
I'm in a
So
weird side. I believe he should be deemed the greatest of all time, but I don't hate that he's not in the Hall of Fame. That's just a take of mine. I don't hate that he's not in the Hall of Fame, but I think he should be deemed the greatest of all time.
I
That's
love Barry Bonds, but in my eyes, the home run king will always be Hank the Great Aaron.
So I do want to
fair
ask you
enough.
guys very quick. We have a minute left in this meeting. Who do you guys think should be the starting pitchers for American League and National League for the All-Star game?
Ooh, let's start
Cooper
with
Prince,
Cooper.
why don't you go first?
No, I'll let y'all. I want to hear what y'all have to say.
No,
All right, so
I
I'm
want-
I
thinking
want
right
to hear
now,
what you had to say.
Paul Skeens and Scooball. That's just
I'm gonna say Tariq Skubal for sure. Um, yeah, has to be
I
Paul
think
Skeens.
I think those are the only two correct options.
I think so
Mhm.
too.
On
Yeah,
Skeens.
I think so.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. Cooper Prince, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this episode. This will be up around 7 p.m. But for all of us here at Dinger Dudes, we will see y'all next week.